We're going to sing to the tune of Where, Oh, Where Has This Little Dog Gone? Ready, go. Where, oh, where did this autism come from? Oh, where can it be? More from the back. With mysteries up long and eye contact at short. More from the bass and tenor. Oh, where can it be from? All right, I think we need a lot of work with intonation, breath support, and singing together, but I think we'll be ready for the summer concert. And the reason why I bring this up is to highlight where researchers are spending most of their energies into the causes of autism. The best minds in research believe that autism starts with a genetic predisposition. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. I remember after meeting the dad of the first child I worked with, I kind of looked at him and I said, "Hey, Dad, I think you're autistic." He didn't like that. Well, then later on, I found out Dad didn't eat solid foods until he was 9.5. I also found that Dad had what I call a negative autism diagnosis. After spending 6 months visiting a doctor as an outpatient, the final result was a letter: "Dear Mom and Dad, your child cannot be autistic because he's talking." Well, now we know what that's called. It's called Asperger's syndrome. And Dad now realizes that if he's not on the autism spectrum, he's awfully close. And that helps him understand his son, who's much more significantly affected and remains nonverbal to this day. So his father is what my friend Jerry Newport, who is also on the autism spectrum, would refer to as a recovered aphid. APHID standing for Autistic Parent Heavily in Denial. Maybe you know something. So we have this genetic predisposition. We see autistic characteristics running in families. And then it gets triggered by something else. And the question is, what is that something else? And there's great controversy with all of these. There's great controversy with vaccines, with diet, with the environment. Is it a virus? Well, what we do know is that there's an awful lot more autism now than there was before. A generation ago, the incidence rate was considered to be 1 in 10,000. Now the incidence rate, the accepted incidence rate by the CDC in the United States is considered to be 1 in 110. Well, if you go to the Academy of American Pediatrics, they say 1 in 91. If you go to the other side of the Atlantic, they're talking about 1 in 68. That's an awful lot of autism. Again, we don't know where it comes from. We have a lot of clues, but no specifics. And that's one of the things that makes autism so particularly slippery to deal with. If you don't know what causes the condition, it makes it much harder to work with. Or is it that we're just better at recognizing it? Why is it that the incidence rate of mental retardation or intellectual disability is going down like this? And we see other disabilities going up like that. But why is it that autism goes like that? It's a lot of autism. I remember all through grade school, I was the only child I knew on the autism spectrum. Now, thinking back, some of my classmates should have been diagnosed, but they weren't. That still doesn't account for the fact that where I live in Boston, within bicycling distance, there are 5 schools, private schools for children with autism. So we have entire schools devoted to children with autism. Entire rooms in public schools devoted to children with pervasive developmental disorders. What we do know is that if the incidence rate keeps increasing the way it has been, probably within the next generation, there's going to be more of us on the spectrum than not. So we're taking over. Or are we just primed to see autism? Are we ready as a society to understand what it is? Whereas before, somebody with autism might have been considered to have an intellectual disability, or minimal brain dysfunction, or something else. The definition of autism has expanded. People who weren't considered to have autism in the past now are. So the definition expands. So what does that have to do with federal elects? How many of you are familiar with this logo? You know it when you see it. How many of you are familiar with that little arrow that they stuck in there? Well, now all of you see it. And forevermore, whenever you see a FedEx label, you're going to see that arrow. So I've primed you to see that arrow. So is that is what is responsible for the increase in incidence of autism, better recognition? Or is it like it is with so many things, it's a little bit of each? And that's one of the mysteries that we still need to resolve.